This is a lesson over the digestive system. Let's go over the learning targets. The first learning target is that you can identify the function of the digestive system. In order to do this, you need to know what it means to identify, and you need to know what the function of something is. At this point, you should know that identifying is labeling or naming something, and the function is something's job. The digestive system is a system that helps break down food into molecules so that cells in the body can use it. The second learning target is that you can list the parts of the digestive system. A list is a group of words that might be in a certain order, and parts are pieces of a whole. The final learning target is that you can explain the interactions between the digestive system with the rest of the systems that we've studied so far, the skeletal, muscular, respiratory, and circulatory systems. In order to be successful at this, you need to know what it means to explain something. So an explanation is something that you describe, you include details, and you might expound or expand upon your idea. Interactions are how things get along with each other. So let's get into the function of the digestive system. There are three. The first function is that the digestive system takes in materials that your body needs, such as food and water. Another function is that the digestive system helps get rid of waste, such as feces, which is another name for poop. The third function of the digestive system, and this is really the most important, is that it helps break down food to get energy and materials that your body needs to keep working. This food has to be broken down into very, very small pieces so that the cells can use the food. Now we're going to get into the digestive parts. Before we do this, I just want to introduce a concept to you. So there are two different types of digestion. One is mechanical and one is chemical. Mechanical digestion is kind of like a machine. It breaks down food into smaller pieces. So an example is that teeth grind to break down food into smaller pieces. Another type of digestion is chemical digestion. And so your body creates chemicals called enzymes, and these enzymes help break down large food molecules into smaller ones so that our cells can use them. Saliva is an example of an enzyme, and it breaks down starches into sugars. So let's get into the parts. The first part, which you might not be too surprised at, is the mouth. And so the mouth is responsible for grinding this food into smaller pieces. Both mechanical and chemical digestion happen here. The teeth grind, that's your mechanical digestion, and then the saliva breaks down starches into sugars, that's your chemical digestion. Sometime when you get a chance, if you have saltine crackers at home, just put one in your mouth. Don't chew it, just leave it there. And see what you taste after about a minute. If you still taste salt or if it tastes sweet like sugar. Another part of the digestive system is the esophagus. And so the esophagus is a tube just like the trachea. It's right beside the trachea. Only this tube carries food to the stomach, whereas the trachea carries oxygen to the lungs. Another part, and I'm going to bring up two parts together, the liver and the pancreas. The liver and the pancreas are really responsible for some of the chemical digestion that happens. So the liver produces something called bile, which is a really yellow color, and it releases into the small intestines. And this bile helps break up fat molecules. The pancreas also helps with chemical digestion. Enzymes are made to break down things like carbohydrates and protein, and again, this happens in the small intestines. Carbohydrates are things like bread and pasta, things with wheat in it. And proteins are things like meat and peanut butter. Okay, so here comes some more parts. the stomach, which again shouldn't be too big of a surprise. And the stomach is a muscle, so it's actually part of your muscular system as well. And it grinds food into small pieces, so it does some mechanical digestion. And there is also chemical digestion that happens. Gastric juices and hydrochloric acid also help break down protein molecules. So again, molecules from meat and peanut butter and beans. Your small intestine is really the main place for your nutrients to be absorbed into the bloodstream. There are these tiny finger-like structures called villi, and there are blood vessels all around these villi, and that's where the nutrients gets absorbed into your bloodstream so that your circulatory system can carry them around to the rest of the body. Your large intestines, it does a little bit of digestion. It breaks down materials that the small intestines cannot absorb, but it's most responsible for removing water and creating feces. I'm sure all of you have had diarrhea before, and what's happening is your large intestines is not absorbing all the water that it needs to. The final part of the digestive system is the rectum and the anus, and this is where your feces or your poop exits the body. So how does the digestive system interact with some of the other systems we've already learned about? First of all, oxygen is pulled into the body by the respiratory system, and it's carried around to the small intestines by the circulatory system. This helps break down food molecules into energy and nutrients that the cells of the body can use. Another interaction is when food is turned into energy using oxygen, carbon dioxide is released into the blood vessels as a waste product. And so then the circulatory system carries that waste through the heart into the lungs, and the respiratory system gets rid of the waste by exhaling carbon dioxide. Another interaction is that the circulatory system carries around the nutrients to all the other parts of the body. So those nutrients that are absorbed by the blood vessels in the small intestines are carried to things like muscles and bones to help keep them working, alive, and healthy. Hope you enjoyed your lesson over the digestive system.